What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Sip-Off, where we have drinks and we talk all things basketball. We got a jam-packed show for y'all tonight. We got the results of the national tournament. We also have NBA, WNBA, so we have a ton to talk about tonight. Let me go ahead and get my guests on. We got first Steve Shawanda. What's up, Steve?
Megan, how we doing, Queen?
I'm doing really, really well. Obviously, we will talk about the March Madness, the end of March Madness a little bit before we jump into the other topics. But how was your national championship games? How's your week been? All that.
The men's game was great which is why I'm wearing my Ray Allen jersey. I picked UConn, when this tournament started, I was almost bored. Like it's so boring to pick UConn because they clearly were the better team all year. Right. Defending champs, but I'm like, hey, I'm trying to win that money. So they came through for me. So I had to represent tonight and wear this. The girls' game, man, it was tough. I love that first quarter.
Right.
The rest of it, not so much. I have to admit, I got close to crying when they put Molly Davis in. You don't know, Molly Davis went to Midland High School, then played at Central Michigan, where I graduated from. So I've known Molly for a long time, and just obviously her injury was terrible. So yeah, when they gave her, the 5 seconds or so at the end there, when she's still obviously not medically cleared with her knee, but and I wanted them to pass it to her so bad so she could jack up a shot. But it looked like she literally barely moved. So I bet you she was probably told like, don't do anything.
But
it was just cool that she got to be out on the floor a little bit, but. All in all, obviously a absolutely fantastic college women's basketball season. The men's tournament overall was fine. I mean, the women's tournament was better. It just was. But the men's tournament was still fine. And I feel like at least the two best teams all year made both. I think you can argue, which is fun. Like upsets are great. But at the end, you don't want to see, again, no offense to them, but you don't want to see Florida Gulf Coast in the men's championship game or something like that, right? Like it's fun to have the 12 over the 5, but eventually you want the guys that have, NBA players,
best of the best
players playing against each other, right? So all in all, it was a pretty good year. We don't have to be sad because we got, the NBA playoffs right around the corner. We got the W starting right around the corner, so we're good. AAU season for me to watch, AAU games all weekend, so it's great. We're awesome. We're happy.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm going to get our next guest in. We got Joseph Jenkins. What's up, JJ?
JJ in the building.
Side note, I was grooving to the music before the show. I was just sitting, I was going on that joke. But an interesting Steve when Steve was just talking about, I just want to address this because I was thinking about it, when Steve was talking about how, nobody wants to see the Gulf Coasts and stuff. It made me remember that I can't just look at it from where I'm coming from. These kids want to win a title. So to us, it looks good, but for me, I don't care. If you're a team that can win a title, I'd love a Texas State story made into a movie. I'd love to see a situation like that. But
except when they play Texas, but yeah.
But other than that, I am good. I caved in. I'm here. It's Thursday. We are talking.
Okay. What are we drinking? What is everybody drinking?
My best friend Ciroc.
Well, I didn't say it last week when I was drinking water, but I'm actually not drinking at all this month. I'm trying something.
Oh, okay.
So I do just have my water.
Awesome. All right.
Got my best friend's wedding the first week of May, so I'm trying to lose a little LBs before those wedding pictures, so I can look all.
Nothing wrong with the dad bod. Stop playing.
It's true. And I am a dad, so I can have one.
Drying out. There's nothing wrong with drying out either, so no pressure. But I am having a red blend from 14 Hands. It's called Hot to Trot. And
ooh,
that's what I will be drinking.
Is that so? How cute! I like that.
You know I'm hot to trot.
Hot to trot. Yeah.
Love the hair too.
What do you got, JJ?
The hair is very Carmen Sandiego-ish. I love it.
Oh, okay. I like that.
I love that Carmen Sandiego. Carmen Sandiego.
I used to watch that all the time.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Where in the world is?
She right there with Respect Gadget.
Right. JJ, talk to us a little bit about the men's and the women's tournament, and then we'll jump into the WNBA draft.
So, I will start with the men's because I want to save the best for last. I often watch men's just to see what could translate to the NBA, who would be a good fit, and who are the people they're talking about. And I think it gave us a taste of the potential and also the glaring weakness on how to combat the potential of a Zach Edey. Because yes, he may have got off, but if you watch that game in that second half, it was hard. Life was
Right,
hard
yeah.
for him, and he's about to go into a league that has Jokic, Giannis, Joel, Brooke, all these guys that are the same size, if not
Wemby.
bigger. Wemby. So it's like I want to see him develop a little. Everybody in the world. I will say this: if you're a big man and you have no shot or anything, I don't care how it is. Have them get it together. Just get with Tim Duncan and learn the bank shot. That's it.
Mhm.
You get the bank shot going on, they can't stop you because you hit it from 10 feet, 15 feet, 16 feet. 17, it doesn't matter. And if you get that, it suppresses. But the game was great. UConn, I like Dan Hurley, and it goes back to when he first got there. He is a player's coach. That man is like he in the trenches with you, and you sitting there. I think those guys are responding well to him, and they're swarming. When their defense is on point, I loved everything about it. On the women's side, I see you, Dawn. You did exactly what you knew you needed to do from last year against Iowa. You got shooters. And that was the difference between last year and this year because they knew they were going to own the paint. They knew they were going to get the paint. That was never an issue. But when Caitlin had that 18-point first quarter, Tahina kept them close. Tessa Johnson kept them close. Bree Hall. So all of those players that they needed to bring in to get this game, Dawn and them showed out. And I do have a compassionate heart for someone because I could see Caitlin at the end of the game just look so a little bit deflated, which naturally you would because you know it's the last game of your career. And I know she cares about college basketball. She wanted her teammates to experience something. She knows she's going to the W. But for some of her teammates, this is it. So she is like really wanted to win for them. And it's just, I've seen this so many years with so many talented players. She is the Skylar Diggins who could never get past the UConn. She is the Skylar Diggins that could never get past the UConn. The best player on the court. Whenever you watch the Skylar play with Notre Dame, she was by far the best player on the court. And the other night, even though they lost, and she may have had the defensive struggles with Raven, Caitlin was obviously the number one. They count on Caitlin every chance they could. They knew for a fact we cannot let you get even a close of airspace. And it's a great national championship. Shout out to Dawn Staley.
What a turnaround for Raven Johnson, from last season. The defensive struggles that she went through, she hit the gym and came back tough. So what an amazing turnaround season for Raven Johnson.
Glad you said that about her because the backlash she getting reminds me of something we talked about last week. If you're a basketball player, you're going to talk trash. That's just what it is. It's what about. So her coming at Caitlin and all this other stuff, if you heard during the game, they said, give me that SHIT. You heard what they were saying. So it's like, Caitlin don't care. Nobody cares.
Oh,
She's just a baller. She's just a baller. That's what you do. I'm looking at her any different from no other person that's another guy or anybody who's talking trash. You won. You owned it. You got the steal that gave you a 3-point lead as to a 1-point lead at the end of regulation. You can flex, honey. I ain't mad at you. And I think people need to realize that they're not prim and proper. If you're a baller, why would you want a prim and proper basketball player? I want a basketball player that knows how to get in the trenches, that ain't afraid to fight. And that's what that girl did in the trenches. Let's go.
Mm-hmm. Right. Totally agree. And then also, I wanted to talk about
Caitlin's
a little bit.
Too. Caitlin's a dog
absolutely.
Too. Caitlin getting the trenches. She ain't no worry about no trenches. She's a dog too.
Agree. Absolutely agree. Caitlin, Max shared an article with us in the chat a few weeks ago, maybe. And she talked about, it was an article about Caitlin and her time when her team went over to Europe. And I think they were in Italy. And she rented a yacht for the night. And she took all the girls out and they went swimming and all their training staff too. And, off of a yacht. Like, when else are they going to experience anything like that? Just the type of teammate that Caitlin is. I thought that was awesome. And I think you're right. She knows the future that she has ahead of her and the accomplishments that she's had over her college career. I think she really wanted that. So her her teammates could experience that. So, but to go back to the winner of things, what Dawn did over this season, I think is unbelievable. Having a brand new starting five, and you're right back. You won it again, and it's you know this is a brand new starting five for you. Undefeated, yes, absolutely. Undefeated. So, it's different. Like the difference I see with South Carolina compared to on the men's side, the UConn victory. Because this was a completely different team. UConn had so many returning players, whereas South Carolina, this was almost a completely different team. Now, they had a few bench players that returned, but this was almost a brand new team. So just shout out to Dawn and South Carolina. And then also, UConn, do we think they could three-peat?
Well, Sip-Off fans, first we'll let Megan know. Caitlin and I worry about no money. She just bought a yacht for the night. You know she's loaded. She good.
No, okay. And sharing her NIL money with her teammates. That's dope.
And Europe too. And you come on now. Stop playing. So but
no, and like they had a whole bunch of champagne. Like she really took care of her teammates. Like that's awesome. That's an experience they'll remember for the rest of their life. And if they don't go on to play professionally anywhere and this is the end of their basketball journey, what a road. What a journey. Like you played with one of the greatest ever. So, just my personal opinion. I'm not saying she is the GOAT. Y'all, please don't come for me. WNBA Twitter, please do not come for me. Oh my God, y'all are crazy. That's it. Cheers to that. We're just gonna leave that one alone. Yeah. Cheers to March Madness. It was an amazing tournament. It was so good.
UConn certainly can three-peat if people come back or the way they got their recruiting class.
That's what I'm saying. So,
you know why they're going to win? Because they're not afraid to play defense. I'm just saying. They're not afraid to play defense. You get defense.
Well, and that guard play there at UConn is so good. Their 2-3 guard system that they have, so good. Now, a little surprise that I saw. So I was going through the names on the portal, and I know we're not going to talk about that just yet because not everybody has their landing spot yet. So we'll get to that topic on a different show. But, I'm going through like the top 25, and I was like, oh, no Texas girls. Hey, we're returning everybody. And then Deanna Gaston's on there at the very end. I was like, oh, okay. So I guess one of our big women is out. Wish her the best. And, we got some all-star recruits coming in, so I'm all right with it.
Hey, just to give you hope, though, just because they enter the transfer portal doesn't mean they can't.
Doesn't mean they leave.
Doesn't mean they leave. Right. And just because it happened today, our best player at Central Michigan, Anthony Pritchard, who actually is a transfer from Tulsa, had a great year for us. Was the MAC Defensive Player of the Year. First team all conference, was in the portal. He announced today that he is coming back to CMU, which is huge for us. So it's not completely over yet, just because they announced the transfer portal. But that's definitely a topic for another show because we got the draft on Monday, and we
do have the draft.
We got a lot to talk about.
Do we not sometimes think about transferring jobs and then coming back? I'm just saying. Like,
the grass isn't always greener. Yeah, the grass isn't always greener.
It is not always greener.
Sometimes you gotta mow that shit. That joint. You gotta mow that joint.
I don't know how Vic is gonna act about somebody wanting to come back after they hit the portal. So I don't know.
It'll be interesting. Yeah.
Wait,
all right.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
All right. So let's jump into the WNBA draft. So obviously, I'm going to read through the order real quick, and then we'll go through the picks. Number 1, Indiana. Number 2, LA. Number 3, Chicago via Phoenix. Number 4, LA via Seattle. Number 5, the Wings via Chicago. That was for Marina. And then number 6, Washington. And then number 7, Minnesota. I'm sorry, Joseph. Washington on my shit list. And then number 8, Chicago from Atlanta via LA. And then number 9, we got Dallas again. Number 10, Connecticut. Number 11, New York. And number 12, ATL. So ATL at the bottom of the first round. Does anybody think that Caitlin's not going number 1?
I was going to say, can we just all start our mock draft at 2? Because we all know who's going 1. So,
there's You honestly can't even make a need for Caitlin with outside of Indiana because they need shooting. They need her. They need someone to help with Kelsey and the rest of the squad.
And I saw somebody saying that they didn't think that Caitlin was going to make that much difference, that one person doesn't make a difference. And I'm like, I feel like Indiana has a roster without Caitlin. Now, I know they finished 11th. You know, they still had struggles, but they were in a lot of games. They were competitive in a lot of games. And so, you know, I feel like people are forgetting that there's also already a number one pick on that team in Aaliyah Moss. And then you also have Nalissa Smith. And then you have Kelsey Mitchell. And then even though I think Erica Wheeler's on her way out, she's the weakest link. Then you got Grace Berger too. So, you know, I think that they have a lot of talent over there in Indiana. I just want to see what their coach does. Oh, all right. Let's start with number 2. What I looked at on the mock drafts, this says The Athletic, the ESPN, Bleacher Report, and CBS Sports all have Cameron Brink from Stanford going at number 2. Does everybody agree with that, or do y'all think it's going to be somebody else? Because they did have an early exit from the tournament 2 years in a row.
I mean, it was the Elite 8, but still, it was earlier than it was supposed to be. Or actually, no, they lost in the Sweet 16, didn't they?
Shoot, listen, you can't. And I think
it was right.
I think that's ultimately why Tara. I think it's ultimately why Tara was
retired. Yeah,
retiring nowadays for storied coaches means, listen, you've had your run. It's time to move.
Okay.
Love her dearly. I really love Tara, but it's just.
I was surprised by it. Now so y'all all know that I'm a Haley Jones fan, huge Haley Jones fan. And I have, you know, kind of gotten some knowledge over the last couple of weeks about how Haley was treated in her senior season by Tara. So some things that I didn't know about, and, you know, it's not all the way confirmed, so I'm not going to go just public with it. But I do feel like there was some mishandling her senior season, because remember when everybody was all over her, she was looking like she was going to go number 3, and everybody started talking about her 3-point shooting, and supposedly Tara did not come to her defense. And then she was drafted by ATL, and went to another coach who did not have her back in her first season. So I feel really bad for Haley Jones, and I'm hoping that this year is much better for her. Huge Haley Jones fan over here. So there, she's 6'1", that guard play. Oh, she's gorgeous, and she's an amazing talent.
She's tough. She ain't afraid to be up in there getting them rebounds with the rest of them, because she's gonna go after it. And she's
you know, for me, the number 2 pick, I really feel like do we see Camila jump up that high? I mean, she had a really good, because it's LA. So. LA needs a center. You know, they need a big woman. They've got De'Erica, but that De'Erica is somebody that you run with on small ball. She's not a full-blown center. So do you go for, and that's why I don't think that they go for Reese, because I think they have somebody that's the same size, the same game that Reese has in De'Erica Hamby. So why would you draft Reese unless you feel like she's gonna do better? So do we see Camila jump up to that number 2 spot?
I think we know who the first 4 people. Obviously, Caitlin Clark's going to number 1. I think we know who 2, 3, and 4 are going to be.
What pick is Seattle?
What the order is. And after the national championship game, I even wrote it down. I did homework. I did homework tonight. I even wrote it down. I do have Cardosa at 2 and Cameron Brink at 3, and then Jackson at 4. Now,
so you got Brink going to Chicago.
What pick is Seattle?
Yes, I have Cameron going.
Seattle doesn't have any picks.
Yeah, Seattle doesn't have a first round pick. Yeah.
Hold on, just to make
because
sure.
They got NECA.
I'm trying to make sure. Okay, so NECA and Skylar are on Seattle then. Mm-hmm. Right. Okay.
Yes.
Because I would have loved Camila with them, but if they don't got no pick,
yeah. Yeah, no, that's
so Mike says he guess I'll take Brink.
I had LA going with Cardosa at 2 and then getting Rakia Jackson at 4, and then obviously at 3, I think Chicago. I think whoever LA doesn't take at 2, Chicago's going to take the other one at 3. It's just a matter
out of both centers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, well, or excuse me, Cam's a power forward.
Yeah.
So combo, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Positionless basketball. Positionless basketball in 2024.
That's true. That's true.
You know who I'm looking forward to come out?
Go ahead.
Nah,
Joseph?
it's nothing. No, it's nothing. Am I lagging?
No, I don't think so.
I can hear you. Oh, you're good.
I think you're good.
Okay.
Maybe we're lagging.
Yeah, maybe we're the ones behind. You're just ahead of us.
So at number
Rock
3,
is talking to me.
let me see. At number 3, we have ESPN says Camila. The Athletic says Rakia. Bleacher Report says Rakia. And then CBS Sports says Camila. So either a forward or a center for Chicago at number 3 from the 4 bigs.
Yeah. Chicago loves defense. I think Camila.
Well, and then they have their new coach. So we'll see what they have going on there in Chicago. I'm super excited to see Isabel Harrison back on the floor. She missed the entire season last year because of a knee injury. So really excited to see her back. Then obviously at number 4, we talked, LA has number 4 pick also. ESPN has Rakia going there. The Athletic has Camila going there. Bleacher Report has Camila going there, and then CBS Sports has Rakia. So basically just flip-flopping. Whichever one they don't take, they'll take the other one at the next pick.
Yeah.
This is where it gets a little...
Real quick,
Go ahead.
do you think, and maybe it was so quickly shot down, do you think having 2 and 4, LA even, like, they made a call to Indiana about number 1? Like, do you think a call
they might...
place? And if it was,
try.
Like, did Indiana just immediately turn it down, even to get 2 and 4 for 1? Like, you're not trading away the chance to get Caitlin Clark, right? Like,
no, I think there's no interest in the phone call. Phone calls may have been made, but I think there's probably no interest. That is one of their missing pieces, not just because it's CC, but they need that position as well. So,
absolutely.
We'll see, but I don't think.
And it makes so much sense. Like, I know some people will be like, "Oh, she needs to go to a big market." Yeah, because Iowa's a really big market, and that seemed to really hurt their views and their money and their ticket sales, right? Yeah. So to go into Big Ten country, I think is actually a perfect fit. Obviously, 36 of their 40 games.
Look, they're gonna love her the same way they love Larry Bird.
36 of her.
There's Indiana fans everywhere that love Larry Bird. It's just. It is what it is, and they're gonna love Caitlin the exact same way.
Yep, 36 of their 40 games are on national television.
I saw that.
I mean, their tickets are selling great. I mean, they're doing 2. They're doing their singles. They're doing 2 a day basically, and then each day a new 2 for single game tickets. Go on. Like, I mean, they're doing it right. It's going to be great for everybody, and that's the key. Is it's going to be great for everybody because the more people watching, the more people who get to see maybe the player that they don't know as well, they get to learn about him. So it's going to be great for everybody. So yeah, I think the first 4, like I said, the order might change, but I think we know that Clark, Cardoso, Cam, and Rakia are going to be the first 4 picks, and then you just.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love for Rakia to fall to number 5, and we take her at number 5. I would love that. Yeah. I would love that. Learn behind Flash.
I have you all
learn behind Natasha Howard. I would love that because Natasha's on her way out.
I have you guys taking Leah Edwards at 5.
Okay, so that brings us to the number 5 pick. This is where it gets a little interesting. Dallas, at the ESPN says Aaliyah Edwards. The Athletic says J.C. Sheldon. Bleacher Report says J.C. Sheldon, and CBS Sports says J.C. Sheldon. Well, here's a little FYI to the major media outlets. Greg Bibb said today that Lou Lopez Seneschal is ready for camp. She's cleared for camp. We don't need a guard anymore because Lou is the answer. Oh, and Stephanie Soares is cleared for camp too. So I don't see us going after a big woman. That's 3 on the roster right there. And I don't think that we keep all 3. So somebody's going to end up probably moving around during the season. I would like for Aaliyah Edwards to come, but I will say this. If Rakia happens to be available at number 5, you get her.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right.
I don't see Rakia falling to 5, but yeah, if she does, that's one of those things like you run up to the podium and announce it immediately.
Right.
If she's at 5.
I liked that. Whose post was it that was talking about who people are like, and they were saying that Rakia is like KFC, like Kalia Copper. Did you see that, Joseph? I seen you comment on that. You know what post I'm talking about? You're muted.
You muted yourself.
Sorry, but yeah, I know what you're talking about because he was giving the comparisons between the current.
Right. Now that was one that I actually agreed with because I feel like Rakia and Kalia have very similar game.
Agreed. And that's a smooth game. That's a clutch performer because one thing that Kalia is clutch, and that's what you need. And so I like the comparison on that one. Mike, you my boy, but I do think there's a little bit of I do think it's a little difference between his other comparisons that he had.
Okay. So at number 6, we got Joseph's team. We got the Mystics. Number 1 on my shit list. Who do you want at number 6?
Shit, I wish I could get Camila. No, I don't want Camila because no, let me change that. I don't necessarily want Camila because I like Shakira Austin. I love what she developed last year.
Right,
I think she's going to transition and become. I think Shakira is going to be an important piece to the Wizards. I mean, to the Mystics' success this year. Y'all can tell Sirach's messing with me right now, so forgive me, guys. But anyway, I wouldn't mind Angel, but I don't think coming here is the best fit for her, just based off of why she left Maryland. And so, when a lot of times when you come to this city, people have a habit of trying to like latch everything onto you. And Angel don't need that right now. She just needs to be trained.
Right. No, the same reason that KD will never play in Washington. Never.
Bingo.
He does not. He don't want to go home. He doesn't want to go home.
Right.
He don't want to.
If the funky people wasn't around bothering the man, he would have came back home. But you got to come back home and deal with these people. And Angel talked about it. I would love her because I think she would fit really well with Shakira. And I think those two can bully down there. But
for sure.
I'm not sure. I have to go back to the roster just to be sure. Because if Natasha's not here, I think we need a guard. And we need somebody here with us.
Right, yeah.
All the best wings to try to come in and be like the next Elena Delle Donne is not happening for us at the pick that we have. But we can at least try to put ourselves in a good position by getting like another guard.
I think if Aaliyah Edwards is available, then y'all should go for her, obviously. So The Athletic has y'all taking Aaliyah. ESPN has you taking JC Sheldon, guard. Bleacher Report has you taking Aaliyah Edwards. CBS Sports has you taking Aaliyah Edwards. So
Aaliyah's a forward, right?
She is a forward, yeah. So she has the size that y'all are going to be missing without Delle Donne, Yeah.
We're going to be a young team. We're going to be a team that's going to definitely have some ups and downs this year because
that's another reason I wouldn't want Angels to go there because while I do like their coach because obviously it's their old coach's son. He knows your team. He knows your players. He was an assistant coach there for a while before they promoted him up anyway, right? Mm-hmm. But it's only his second season as head coach. I think Angel needs a well-seasoned coach. That's what I think. She needs somebody to help her lead also, to show her how to lead in different ways on different levels. And I think that's something that she was missing with Kim because Kim is a circus, Okay, we're not going to do that this week. All right, moving on to number 7. All right, we got Minnesota coming in at number 7. Now, this is a team that made some big changes during the offseason. They landed Courtney Williams from the Chicago Sky, and then they also landed Alana Smith. So on a roster that already has Diamond Miller, Nafisa Collier, and Caleb McBride. So a team now, and they got rid of AP, which I don't like how they treated Aerial Powers. I don't know what happened for her to get on Cheryl Reeves' shit list, but apparently she did. And I'm glad that she's in ATL and she's not dying on Cheryl's roster, just on her bench, not being played. But I think that Minnesota is a really scary team. One of those teams that probably still are 6 or 7 seed, but they're not an easy out. You catch them in the first round in the playoffs. Like they got to win during the postseason when everybody thought that they were going to get swept, and that didn't end up happening. So at number 7, ESPN has Isabel Borlassi, guard from Australia. The Athletic has Angel Reese. Bleacher Report has Nadia Pouch, a forward from Australia. And then CBS Sports has Angel Reese going to Minnesota. I don't know that Minnesota is necessarily the right place that you capitalize on her popularity, Angel's popularity. But I do think it might be the right situation as far as coach. Because she could go back and play for somebody that really has control of their team and their system, and she could find her place that way and really kind of mature up. And I think, just as far as who she is as a person, that might be the right spot. But as far as her popularity, she might need to go somewhere else.
Yeah. I had in my mock, by the way, I did have Sheldon going to Washington, and then I had Minnesota taking Pouch, I think. I'll let you pronounce her first name. But
I've heard it on YouTube, it's like Nadia.
Okay. But all I know is she's 6'3", she's 19. Already played.
I haven't seen her play.
It's like the other guard. They've already played professional basketball, at a young age. So, I think both of those Australian young ladies are going to go in the top 10, I think. It's just a matter of where. I happen to have one at 7 and one at 9.
Okay.
But Nadia is one of the 15 invited to the draft. So that's always one of those things that when you look at it and you're like, oh, like this person is invited to the, as one of the 15, but I haven't seen her in anyone's first round mock. Maybe the league knows something that, the rest of us doesn't know, but we'll see.
All right, so at number 8, we got the Chicago Sky coming in with their second pick. ESPN has Angel Reese going there. The Athletic has Nadia going there. Bleacher Report, this is a new one. Lila Lacan from France.
Oh, okay.
And then CBS Sports has Nadia. Then CBS Sports has Nadia going there. So obviously I've seen a bunch of mock drafts, and Nadia has been in close to either from Dallas to number 5 to number 8 is where I'm seeing Nadia in most of these drafts. So obviously she's somebody that has impressed these other scouts and these other people that have seen her play. I haven't seen her play.
Yeah, I haven't seen her play, like a video or like a game, like an actual game.
Right. I've watched some highlights, but I haven't ever watched I haven't seen a game and watched her play. So at number 9, we get Dallas's second pick. This is another interesting area. Bleacher Report and CBS Sports both have Isabel from Australia going. The Athletic has Carla going from France. And then ESPN has Alyssa Pilley going from Utah. I would love to have Alyssa to the team. Having somebody at the 1 or even have her coming in after Enrique, giving Enrique some fresh legs. I could definitely see her in that type of rotation, coming off the bench, filling in for Enrique. We know Enrique is going to get ejected at least once or twice a season. Come in and be able to give us the same type of shooting. We need that. So I would love to have Alyssa be a part of the team. Who do y'all think Dallas takes at number 9?
So just to catch caught up, I did get Angel with Chicago at 8.
Okay.
And if it works out, it's either going to be Cardosa or Cameron or Cam with their third pick, their first pick, the third overall pick,
right?
Which would be interesting high-low options with either one of those two.
Right.
For Dallas, Isabel, I like that pick because with their current situation and her 19-year-old age and already playing in Australia, I think that's a good pick for them because she doesn't have to come over right away. So maybe it's more of a 25 move since they already have some guards in the fold there, and it's their second of 2 top 10 picks. So you don't maybe need them to come in right away and play amazing minutes. So that's why I went with her at 9. But we'll see on Monday at 7:30.
Absolutely, I'm so excited.
Yeah, very excited.
All right, then let's see. Moving on to number 10, we have the Connecticut Sun, and it seems to be a pretty consistent as far as all the other mocks that I've looked at. But ESPN has Daisha Fair going at number 10 to Connecticut, and I think that would be insane. Her with Alyssa Thomas, Brianna Jones, Dejanay Carrington, like that is such a stacked roster already. And then you throw Daisha on there with that shooting and her defensive abilities. I think she's 5'5", and obviously, when you're an undersized guard, it's you against the world. It just is. But I think she has those abilities. I definitely think that she's a first-round pick. And going to Connecticut, oh my God, that's insane.
Yeah.
Like don't even trip that you're a late first-round pick, because going to Connecticut, I feel like that's an ideal situation for Daisha.
You're with a forward who likes to get you the ball.
Right.
Alyssa
exactly.
is all about her teammates and making sure they get it going. Imagine how many possible open threes you about to get with Alyssa on that team with you.
That's insane.
Maryland,
that's such an idea. You do not worry about falling to number 10, because I think that, she probably has the ability to be like an 8 or number 7 pick because she's that good. But I don't think that those teams necessarily need that position. So for you to fall to a team, it's like Kirsten Bell going to Vegas. Yeah, you're not going to start. It's not happening. But one, you're a back-to-back champion already. And you're also important. You are an important role player. And I think Daisha could walk into that first year type of scenario. Like, you're the number 3 seed, like it could be awesome, or maybe the number 2 seed, because there was a portion of the season last year that they were at number 2 for a while. So even with the injuries.
Yeah, no, that you talk about 5'5" and chip on your shoulder, me against the world. Obviously, before she went to Syracuse, she was at Buffalo, so I've seen her play in person, playing against Central Michigan, more times than I would like to see. Let's put it that way, because she is tough. Obviously with Coach Jack, and then she, followed her, to Syracuse. And yes, she did play 5 years, to be fair, but I don't care if you played 10 years, 3,403 points, third all time in NCAA history. That's doing something, so
absolutely.
I think Connecticut is a great fit. And like you said, I think if you're going to say, fell to 10, obviously getting drafted in the WNBA is the hardest thing to do in professional sports. I mean, there's so few teams and there's so many players every year trying to get in, and the same amount are not obviously leaving as they're coming. So if you're going to have a chip on her shoulder, which she probably is, because originally, again, started at Buffalo. Nobody talked about her. Not a lot of people knew who she was until she went to Syracuse with her coach. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, wow, this girl's real tough. And it is also nice symmetry because her last collegiate game was losing at UConn in the second round to UConn at UConn. So, playing in Connecticut.
But gave them hell. Hold on. I want to say gave them hell. Syracuse. Syracuse gave them all they could handle. I will say that for sure. So the Athletic has Alyssa going at number 10. Bleacher Report has Angel falling to number 10. And then CBS Sports has Alyssa going at number 10 also. So it could be Alyssa at number 10. I would love to have her in Dallas, but I still think Connecticut is an ideal situation for Alyssa as well. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on to number 11, we've got the New York Liberty. ESPN has Charisma Osborne, the guard from UCLA, going. At the Athletic has Nika Mule going, the guard from UConn.
Okay.
Bleacher Report has Alyssa going, and then CBS Sports has Charisma Osborne going at number 11. They need a guard. Courtney Vandersloot was looking gas last year. It was a drastic difference last year compared to even her last year there at Chicago. And I want to say her last season at Chicago was probably the first time she had been in the league where she didn't lead in assists. And so there was already a slight decline there at Chicago, but I think that maybe she just wasn't needed as much. But then it was a different look there in New York. Very, very different look. So I think maybe just even being in a new system, being with a new coach, it just didn't quite work the way that they thought it was going to, including Sloot. I don't think that she thought it was going to work out like that as well. So a guard is needed. For me, out of those guards, I would go Nika personally.
Yeah.
I like Charisma.
I liked Osborne. I was thinking Osborne. Most of the mocks that I saw also had her, but then I did again, and it's not inside information. Anybody can Google it, but one of the 15 people invited is Mule. So, if she's one of the 15 invited, maybe I don't think she gets out of 11 or 12, and I don't see Atlanta taking her. So 11 might be that spot for her.
Right. So then at 12, like you just said, we got ATL coming in, and ESPN has Jessica Carter, the forward center from Mississippi State. The Athletic has Charisma going there. Bleacher Report has Charisma going there, and then CBS has Nika going. So I think we know who the general top 15 are. Like you said, the top 15 generally are going to be. And we'll see how that translates to the second round. If there was anybody out of these names that you heard that you feel like falls to the second round, who would it be?
I guess I'll just have to, cap out and go with one of the two Australians who I haven't personally seen play a game, just because I haven't seen him play. But obviously all these teams have not just normal scouts, but they have international scouts and all that stuff. Yeah. So they're obviously not just watching the U.S. women's college basketball game like most of us are. So that's why I would be less inclined to say like, oh yeah, a star that I just watched at UConn or Utah or UCLA, do great things the last, 40 games. I don't see him falling. But if you're at 13, 14, 15, again, you still have a really good chance of making a team and, being in a good situation and making an impact. Kaylee for me is the interesting one because I don't think she's going to go in the first round, but it's just because of her torn ACL. But I just wonder is how far does she fall until someone's like, the value here's too good. I have to take her, And
you said who?
Elizabeth Kaylee from Vatech.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, Joseph. If there's any big name that you can think of that we've been talking about in the first round, but you think there's a possibility that they drop to the second round, who do you think it would be?
Honestly, Angel. I honestly feel like we live in a world where your people's opinion of you has weight in how teams look at you and think about you. And I don't want this to happen, but
it would be a possibility.
A possibility.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to forgive me. I am trying to get myself together.
No, you're fine. No worries. All right, so
hold on, just to throw it out real quick. How great would it be if she does fall and Indiana takes her? And then Indiana has Angel, Aaliyah Boston, and Caitlin Clark.
That's insane. I don't team hop, but I will definitely watch. All right, so let's slide over to the NBA. We haven't talked about the NBA in like a month, y'all. We're almost to the last game or two of the season. At number 1, you got the Celtics, who are 62-17. They are 13 and a half games up on the Bucks, who come in at number 2. They're 49-31. The Knicks come in at number 3. They are 47-32. Then at number 4, you got the Cavs. They're 47-33. At number 5, you got the Magic. They are 46-34. At number 6, you got the Pacers. They're 46-34. Then at number 7, you have the Sixers, who are 45-35. The Heat come in at number 8. They're 44-36. And then the Bulls come in at number 9. And then the Hawks at number 10. So let's talk play-in tournament scenarios right now. So at the first game, the 7-8 game, you got the Sixers versus the Heat. Who do y'all think comes out of that?
You want me to go first, JJ? All right. Okay, so I'll do this very quickly. In the East, obviously, let's be honest, it doesn't matter. Nothing else matters. We all know it's Boston and everybody else. I mean, come on.
Right.
But to answer your question, I think Miami beats the 76ers, and then I think the 76ers beat Atlanta. And so Miami would be 7 and the 76ers would be 8, to answer your question.
Okay. And then the Bulls being the odd man out there.
Yes.
Okay. And has anybody heard that Billy Donovan's looking like he might be the front runner for the Kentucky job? Right after Chicago gave him an extension?
Yeah. Right after you give the extension, if enough people turn down Kentucky, now we go back to Billy Donovan. And I actually do think, and I know he already said, I'm committed to Chicago, blah, blah, blah. Because obviously that's what you have to say, right? You can't say like, oh yeah, I can't wait till our season ends in the play-in game so I can go take the Kentucky job. Like obviously you can't say that. Right. So it would not surprise me at all if Billy Donovan goes to Kentucky. First of all, I think he's a better college coach anyway.
Right.
I don't really think he's that good of an NBA coach, and that's a whole nother show topic. But we just keep recycling some of these guys instead of maybe looking elsewhere. But yeah, so I could see him going to Kentucky absolutely, which is why again I had Atlanta beating them in the one game, and then the 76ers beating Atlanta to beat 8. But like I said, it doesn't matter. Boston's going to roll in the East. I mean, they're in cruise control right now. These last couple of games right now, they're just waiting to flip the switch. 13 and a half games up. I mean, to put that in perspective, 13 and a half back in the West would be the 12th seed. Just to put that in. The second seed in the East is 13 and a half back. The 10, 11. Yeah, the 12th seed in the West is 13 and a half back. That's crazy.
Oh, wow. That's right. That's wild.
Yeah.
All right, Joseph. Let's talk a little bit about the East play-in tournament. So, like I said, at number 7, Sixers, number 8, Miami, number 9, Chicago, and number 10, Atlanta.
Absolutely. Ugh. I mean, Philly should win because Joel Brink coming back is a huge relief for them. They really are a top 5 seed in the East. But with Spoelstra, how this team likes to play, Tyler Herro's back. It's possible. I'm going to give it to Philly. I do think it's Philly and Miami as well that come out to play in. I do think, exactly as Steve, Chicago on the way out, Atlanta's going to have a chance to get that 8th seed, but how it would set up, Miami versus Boston in that number 1 versus 8 matchup. Philly is a good team. They really are a good team. Mm-hmm. Miami's a good team too, but Miami oftentimes can get beat.
I think that they don't have the same lineup that they had the last 2 years in the postseason, and I think that they've gotten so far away from that I don't know that I see them making it from. I don't know about Miami. I definitely have question marks with Miami because they just don't, even with the added addition of Scary Terry, great addition. It was needed, but you still have a couple other holes. And so I just don't know that I see them being able to have these postseason runs that they've had the last couple years. So we'll see. But as of right now, if that was the case, then we have on the first series, we would have the 1 versus the 8. So we would have the Celtics versus Miami, the Bucks versus the Sixers, the Knicks versus the Pacers, and then the Cavs versus the Magic. Any of those matchups that y'all want to talk about?
I will say this. Milwaukee, are you trying to avoid Miami potentially? I'm just saying. I'm just joking. I'm just joking with it, but the Pacers and Magic matchup is one I was definitely excited to see if it comes to fruition because the young squads. Let's see what they're about.
Okay. Steve, any of those you want to touch on?
Truthfully, no.
Okay.
I mean, granted, because obviously I had different ones. So I have the Celtics over the 76ers, Heat over the Bucks,
Right.
New York over Pacers, and Cavs over Magic in the first round of the playoffs.
So you
but-
have the Heat coming out of the first round.
Yes. Until Jimmy Butler is officially no longer alive, they're playing for the Miami Heat. I'm gonna at least give them one round because whatever happens, whatever Spoelstra does, and whatever they come up with in the playoffs, I'm gonna let it ride for at least one more playoff round until I see something different. Especially if it is and how I had it, it would be over the Bucks and
Right.
the way with Giannis and his calf strain.
Right.
Really bad time to have that injury.
Right. Oh yeah.
So
true. Very true.
I don't like it. I don't like it. And they that coaching carousel over there in Milwaukee is you're always because it's easier to blame the one coach over the 12 players.
Right.
And not having that, when Spoelstra's been, in Miami forever and, because he was given the chance, right? I mean, LeBron thought, complained to Pat Riley about him as, oh, he's a terrible coach, and Pat Riley had to sit LeBron down and talk about it or whatever. And then, he found what worked. And then, it turns out maybe Eric Spoelstra knows what he's doing, so, and now he's grown, through the last whatever years. So, I mean, I don't remember Coach John Wooden used to talk about that. Like, if I was a coach now, I would never get any national championship because I would have been fired. It took me 11 years to win one. Like, I'd never last that long now, right? Like,
right.
So, yeah, the Bucks, they're just like, they really are. They're like that train wreck, that dumpster fire. Like, you're so intrigued by it, but you're like, I know it's coming, but I just can't look away.
Well,
like the Sparks for the last 5 years.
I do want to correct myself, Megan, because I definitely have been drinking, and the Knicks would be facing the Pacers, not the Magic. The Magic would face the Cavaliers. But to Steve's point, Milwaukee is the most talented team to have a chance to take down Boston. To be very honest with you, they have just been lackadaisical. But if they play at their best, they can contend with Boston.
Right, yeah.
But
cool talk. Cool saying what we all are thinking.
But the investment on Kristaps Porzingis is where Boston's about to see if it pays off in about a week or two. That's where they're waiting for Porzingis. We brought you in for this reason.
So I think a different scenario. I think the one that stands out to me is the Cavs in Orlando. And I think the Cavs get knocked out first round. I think Orlando takes it. And I think that there's a good possibility we see Donovan Mitchell move around.
Yep.
So, and he's a part of that one that we talked about, the possibility of the Spurs landing one of those three guards. Donovan is one of those, another one being DeJounte, and then Trey. So I think that is a possibility. I would, like I told y'all in the pre-show, I feel like DeJounte is probably the best fit, but I don't think that he comes back. So tough question, really, really tough question.
Yeah, and for the Cavs, like if he's not going to sign an extension, you would be stupid not to move Mitchell. Like at least get something.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah. So yeah, I think truthfully, I think even if the Cavs do beat the Magic or they don't beat the Magic, either way, I think they would lose in the next round. So I think either way, I think Mitchell's Cavs career is probably going to be
on his way out.
Yeah, shortly. But I do like that there's some younger talent, and not just, the same old. So it's not obviously more so in the West, which we'll talk about in a second. But the Mavs and the Pacers and the Magic it's nice.
Did anybody think that Orlando was going to be finishing this high in the seeding at the beginning of the season?
I did.
Yeah?
I did.
I did not. They did not.
I can't lie. I did not.
They've had 27 top 5 picks in the last 20 years. And you can't do that. But I'm just saying, like, they've had that many top 5 picks, but and it just has never come together for them until now. And I don't know what the difference maker was. Maybe it was their coaching change. or just this group of guys that they have. But I did not expect them to be a top 5 team. I expected a chance at making the playoffs, but closer to like an 8 or 9 seed. Definitely an improvement over last season, but not number 5. No, I didn't expect them to be a 5 seed.
I had them as a 6, but I had their record at being like 47 and 45 and like 35 because last year they had some really good wins, and at home they were strong. And what that kind of so coming in, that was my sleeper team, which is why on FanDuel I bet that they would win over 37 games, and I thought that they would be a playoff team, and I'm excited to see what they're going. I'm excited to see what they're going to be about because they play like a team. Everybody gets involved. Everybody is on that squad, and they have a really good defense. Of course, it's better to play a team not like Boston or Milwaukee because they are the more experienced team, and they would potentially, they would. It's a different ball game when you're facing Giannis for like 35, 36 minutes as opposed to 40.
There's no telling that they're going to face Giannis first round.
Good point.
Yeah, that injury, they're lucky that his Achilles is intact because they thought it was not. And, I don't know that we see Giannis the first round of the playoffs at all.
No, it was one of those, again, anything that there's non-contact, when somebody goes down like that, you never want to see that. It's like I said, if that happened in, January, I'd be like, yeah, okay, you're fine. You'll tread water for a little bit.
Right.
Dave, he can go off a little bit. Damian can go off a little bit and, make you, 500 team or whatever until Giannis gets back, but not mid-April. Like that's not when you want that happening. So, that worries me if I'm a Bucks fan.
Right. Sorry, yeah, of course. Well, he's actually a Nuggets fan.
I know Nuggets is first and foremost, but when the Bucks is winning, he claims them too.
right.
Kind of like being Gold State.
Milwaukee.
He go head coach.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Man, all right.
The man is only saying.
I like Boston's coach. Honestly,
he's happy because his team is, sitting high as the number 1 seed.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, so let's slide over to the West real quick, and that'll wrap it up.
To the West, JJ.
Right. Oh.
Ouch.
That is aggressive. Cool.
Okay.
Have you had a drink? All right. So to the West, we got the Nuggets at number 1. They're 56-24. Timberwolves are a game behind. They are 55-25. OKC comes in at number 3, 55-25. Also, the Clippers come in at number 4. They are 41-29. The Mavs come in at number 5. They are 50-30. Pelicans come in at number 6. They're 47-32. The Suns are 47-33. The Kings come in at number 8, 45-34. The Lakers are 45-35 at number 9. And then the Warriors are 44-35 at number 10. All right, let's start with the play-in teams. 7-8, Suns, Kings. 9-10, Lakers, Warriors.
Okay, just real quick, and I'll start with that. So those teams that you just mentioned, let me just run by their remaining schedules for everybody. Okay, just because like I just said, so Golden State's a halfback of the Lakers, which are a halfback of the Kings, which are a game and a half back of the Suns. The Suns are pretty okay because they're only a game back of New Orleans for 6.
Right.
The Suns play at the Kings and at Minnesota. The Kings, obviously, they have the Pelicans, Suns, and Blazers. Lakers are at Grizzlies and at Pelicans. Golden State has Portland tonight, and then the Pelicans and the Jazz. New Orleans plays at the Kings, at Golden State, and the Lakers at home in their final 3 games here this weekend, right? So my prediction is that New Orleans Pelicans will not be one of the top 6 seeds, and they will be joining the play-in game after that gauntlet. Okay. That gauntlet that they have to face of at Sacramento, at Golden State, and home against the Lakers in their final 3 games. So that puts me having the Suns at 6. And I do think both the Lakers and Golden State will move up as well. Obviously, Golden State would have the tiebreak over the Lakers since they just beat them. So I actually have Golden State, and of course I am a little bit of a Golden State fan, but I have Golden State beating just a little. I have Golden State beating New Orleans in the 7-8 game, and then the Lakers beating New Orleans after they beat the Kings, and then the Lakers would be the 8, and Golden State would be 7. And just really quick, I think the only thing in the West that's locked is 4 and 5, right? Because I mean,
that is the only series that's locked.
Yeah, they're only a game apart from each other, but that series is basically locked. It's going to be Clippers and Dallas. And then really quick for Denver, Minnesota, and Oklahoma City, Denver has at San Antonio and at Memphis. Minnesota has Hawks and Suns. OKC has Bucks and Dallas. So with only a game lead, but with what they have to play, no offense, sorry, Megan, I think Denver is going to be the one. Yeah, Denver is going to be the one seed. And, the 2-3, I'm not quite sure what the tiebreak is. Obviously, Minnesota's 2 right now, and OKC's 3, so Minnesota has it right now. But if one thing changes, like Minnesota loses to the Suns, for example, then OKC might get the 2, Minnesota might get the 3, whatever. But at that point, you're just splitting hairs. But yes, I have the Lakers getting 8 and Golden State getting 7, and New Orleans kind of falling back here because I think at Kings, at Golden State, and home against the Lakers for your final 3 games is really, really tough. I mean, that's a back-to-back. I mean, the Suns Kings is tomorrow. New Orleans and Golden State's tomorrow. Kings and Pelicans are later this evening. So that game's still to come tonight. So New Orleans has a back-to-back with, the Kings and Golden State both on the road. I like them to fall off a little bit.
Okay.
Especially with,
and then out of the one matchup that we know for sure that we have out of the Clippers and the Mavs, who do you think comes out of that one?
Luka in 6.
Okay, I said the same thing on the show today. Okay, Joseph, talk to me about the West. Let's talk about the play-in tournament, and then, of course, the 4 and 5 matchup.
So we have potentially Durant, Curry, and LeBron. Yeah. One of them is going to go home.
It's crazy.
Wild.
One of those guys and their teams is going to go home. So, I think it's going to be in the play-in. I actually kind of disagree with Steve a little bit. I think New Orleans is going to hold serve and stay in that 6 seed, and it'll be Phoenix, Sacramento, LA, Golden State. Now, in terms of who wins the play-in, I feel like LeBron and company are going to advance and Curry and them go home. Because I think what's going to happen in the playoffs is they're resting Anthony Davis right now. They are definitely resting this man for the play-in. And I love what Golden State's doing. Now, I think it's going to be a battle of Curry versus Davis. And I think ultimately Davis and company is going to come out on top. But on the other side, I definitely think Phoenix is going to beat Sacramento. And then it sets up for Sacramento versus LA for that final 8 seed. And to be honest with you, I would not be surprised if Sacramento knocks out LA. So not only would we have Curry possibly leaving, LeBron leaving too.
So a playoffs with no Curry or LeBron. When's the last time that happened?
Crazy, right? Crazy.
Yeah.
So I just think about the teams and like Sacramento at home, their 3-point shooting is phenomenal. Harrison Barnes, out of all people, starts to look like he's freaking like Seth Curry or something. And it's like at the end of the day,
he just woke up. Where has he been all season long?
He has just been there filling in the gaps. The West is tough. To that Clippers and Mavericks, I am loving this matchup.
Same.
I am loving this matchup because where one area they're the weakest, the other team is the strongest. And where the other team is the weakest, the other team is the strongest. That series, I think Kyrie Irving is going to have himself a series because he has the best matchup between Dallas and, Los Angeles Clippers. But on the Los Angeles side, and I love him dearly, but this is Kawhi's series. This is Kawhi's series to
I
come
knew it was
out.
coming.
You know it's coming because I love Kawhi so much because homeboy has it. I know, because but you have to, but he has it. And this is the type of series, he versus Luka, he's clearly going to get out there and he's clearly going to give his all. And I think out of all the matchups, he has the most favorable matchup on his side because he's going to be defended against PJ Washington and Derrick Jones Jr. Capable
Right.
defenders, but when Kawhi gets into the playoffs, Kawhi turns into what he's supposed to be. That guy.
True.
So I think that
Except the only question mark that I got on that is,
Uh-huh.
he's that guy, but he's a Clipper. And the Clippers ain't never done shit. Never. No, they don't have any jerseys up in the rafters. They don't have any Western Conference Finals. They have nothing. So I don't know. I just don't believe it. I mean, if it was just Kawhi, yeah, sure, Kawhi anywhere else, but he's a Clipper. He's doomed.
Okay.
Mavs and 6.
Mavs at home are strong. You know, Daddy Luca is a different person, and they do have a perfect
so
complement player.
crazy the guard play that they have between Luca and Kyrie, and just the way that they transition together. It's just, I mean, I shouldn't say that it's insane because, I mean, it's Kyrie and Luca, but I just never had any idea how beautiful it would look together. Like they are poetry in motion.
Bro, yes, honey. Have Kyrie Irving, bro. The way you get people in certain situations, it's just it's insane. It's like, bro, like
right. If they had a center that was well seasoned, they would definitely be like probably a 3 seed, I think. And give them time. They're at their center position. They drafted somebody. They got somebody that I think is going to be good, but you know, he's young. He's a rookie. So, and he's obviously not rookie of the year.
Hey, okay, listen, shout out that
Okay, so
man.
You know, the Spurs didn't have much to talk about this season except for you know, Devin Vassell having a healthy season. So happy for that because last year he ended with a knee injury, and the development that I've seen of him over the last 4 years, I have enjoyed so much. And then of course, Wemby's rookie season, and I'm just gonna, you know, quote the lady on the train. Or on the plane, excuse me. That motherfucker is not real.
It's insane with Wemby, but San Antonio, they started figuring it out at the end of the season. They became
they were competitive. They were competitive in a lot of those games, and this sounds crazy to say, but they won 3 games back to back. That was the biggest accomplishment of the season, other than Wemby being rookie of the year, but. You know, those last 10 games, they were competitive. They won some of those games. Obviously, there's work to be done, but I really, really enjoyed all of y'all that were talking about he wasn't going to be healthy. He was healthy the whole season. Go to hell.
San Antonio became a tougher team as it goes on. You just only think he's going to get better now. So, you know, San Antonio is a team that people are watching because Wemby is a draw. Wemby is going to bring somebody with you.
Somebody's going to come in the postseason. I sure hope so.
Personally, I actually think just for right now as a stopgap, bring the guy from Cleveland. He's the closer.
Okay.
He's familiar with a center of his caliber, if not definitely better than Rudy Gobert.
He's a number 2. I think he has to realize that he's a number 2. At Utah, he was the number 1 option. At the Cavs, he's probably the number 1 option. He's a number 2, y'all. He's a number 2. He's a number 2 option. So with Wemby at number 1 and him at number 2, I don't hate it.
Yeah. I like San Antonio's chances in the next coming year. San Antonio, let's see what Pop's going to do. Does Pop got a couple more years left in him? Who knows?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's got a season or 2. I don't think he goes much more than that. He'll probably do... He signed an extension last year. I think it was a 4-year extension. He may not do that last year of his contract, but I think he gets that far at least.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that does it for us. We're an hour and almost 15 minutes into the show. So thank you guys so much for commenting, watching, sharing. We appreciate y'all every single week. Y'all show up and drink and talk basketball with us. Next week, we will definitely be talking play-in tournament and playoff seeding NBA. We will be talking the WNBA draft results. And I think that's it. So see y'all next week.
A great week.
Good now.